All right, today we are diving into one of the shortest and honestly, one of the most personal letters you'll ever find. It's tucked away in the New Testament, and it might be small, but its message about forgiveness and human dignity, whoa, it's surprisingly radical, and it still packs a punch today. But first, let me ask you a question, and I want you to really think about it. What's the biggest favor you have ever had to ask a friend? I mean, a really costly one, the kind that puts your entire relationship on the line. Got it? Okay, hold on to that feeling, because the story we're getting into is built around one of the highest stakes requests you can possibly imagine.
So, look, this is not some dry, ancient document. Not at all. This is pure human drama. You've got a runaway slave, a master who's been wronged, and a third person in the middle, trying to make a plea that, and I'm not exaggerating here, could literally mean life or death for everybody.
Okay, so to really get the tension here, you gotta meet the players. There are three main characters, and who they are and where they stand in society, well, that's the key to everything.
All right, first up we have Philemon. This guy is a big deal in his city, Colossae. He's wealthy, he's respected, and on top of that, he's a leader in the local Christian community. I mean, the church literally meets in his house. And here's the crucial part. He's the owner of the slave we're going to be talking about.
Then there's the guy writing the letter, Paul. You know, the Apostle Paul, one of the most influential figures in the early church. But, and this is a huge but, he's not writing this from some position of power. Nope, he's writing this from prison. He's the mediator in all this, and he's doing it from behind bars.
And that brings us to our third person, Onesimus. Onesimus is Philemon's slave, and he's run away. The story suggests he might have even stolen something on his way out. So his life? It is in serious, serious danger. He is the whole reason this letter even exists.
And you have to understand, in the Roman Empire, this was no small thing. We're not talking about a minor offense. Slaves were legally property, just like a chair or a tool. Running away was a massive crime. Punishments were horrific. We're talking branding, beatings, even death. For Philemon, the master, letting this slide would mean losing property and losing face in public. The stakes really could not have been higher for everyone. But then, just when things seem their most desperate, the story takes a wild turn. A totally unlikely encounter is about to change everything. So get this, in this incredible twist, Onesimus, the runaway slave, somehow ends up meeting Paul in prison. How? We don't know the exact details, it's lost to history. But what we do know is that while they were together, Paul introduces Onesimus to Christianity, and Onesimus converts. And that one moment right there, that's the spark that ignites this entire story.
And this really gets to a core idea here: transformation. See, in Paul's mind, Onesimus isn't just a runaway slave anymore. That label doesn't fit. His entire identity has been flipped on its head. He's now, first and foremost, a brother in Christ. And that single idea is what powers the absolutely radical thing Paul is about to ask.
Okay, so this is it. We're at the heart of the letter. Paul makes a decision. He's going to send Onesimus back to his master, Philemon, but he's not sending him back empty-handed. He sends him with a letter that contains one of the most audacious countercultural requests you can imagine.
Paul writes, and this is the key line, "Receive him no longer as a slave, but more than a slave, as a beloved brother." Seriously, just let that sink in for a second. In a world built on rigid social structures where a slave was literally property, Paul is telling a master to welcome back this runaway, not just with forgiveness, but as family, as a brother.
And this table just lays it all out, doesn't it? It shows the huge shift Paul is asking for. He's saying, don't see him as property, see him as a person. He's not your legal inferior, he's your spiritual equal. He's moving from a world of debt and punishment to one of grace and forgiveness. This just completely flips the entire master-slave dynamic on its head.
And what's so brilliant about this is how Paul does it. He absolutely could have pulled the apostle card and just ordered Philemon to do it, but he doesn't. Not even close. Instead, he appeals to him as a friend. He appeals to their shared faith, to this idea of love and fellowship. He wants Philemon to make this choice freely, from the heart, not because he was forced to.
So, why are we talking about this tiny, personal letter from almost 2,000 years ago? Why does it still matter? Well, it's because the ideas packed inside it are just as powerful today as they were then.
I mean,
This little letter is just jam-packed with huge themes. It's a total masterclass in forgiveness. It's about a brotherhood that smashes through social barriers. It's about the power of faith that totally changed someone. It's about choosing love over authority. And at the end of the day, it's about the fundamental dignity of every single person. Now, it's really important to be clear about something. This letter doesn't come right out and say, slavery is wrong, abolish it now. It doesn't. But what it does is, well, it's almost more radical for its time. By declaring that a slave and a master are equals, that they're brothers, it plants a little seed of an idea that completely rots the foundation of the entire social system from the inside out.
And that leads us to the biggest cliffhanger of all. So Paul sends Onesimus back with this letter. And then what? What did Philemon do? Did he forgive him? Did he actually welcome him back as a brother? We have no idea. The Bible is completely silent. The story just ends, leaving every single person who reads it to wonder, what would I have done in that situation?
And that really leaves us with one last thing to think about. We all see these huge systemic problems in the world that just feel impossible to change. But this story, it suggests that maybe, just maybe, the biggest changes don't start with some big public declaration. Maybe they start small. Maybe they start with one person making one difficult, costly choice rooted in forgiveness and love. So I'll leave you with this. Can one short, personal letter really change the world?